after Yazd, we also went to Ardakan. My mother was possessed. She had read an article in the New York Times about Khatimi's mother who lived in Ardakan, and so she said, I'm going to go and pay her a visit and thank her for everything and let her know that we really appreciate what her son is doing. And like a good mother, we couldn't say no to her. She said, I must do this. So off we go to Ardakan. We have no idea where the house is. We ask somebody, another person, we get directions, they jump on the bus, we go to the house, she knocks on the door opens, there is Khanume Khatimi, but the sister, not the mother. And she invites
no bodyguards, no gay,
very
on the door, there she was.
Very humble, there was no baji inside. She went in, she had tea, and they spoke for an hour about the situation of women in Iran, about the future of Iran, about making the peace and the reconciliation between America and also Iran. And all of us, instead, were out in the bus, trying to find Tudeshka on the map.
You gotta write a book about this.
But then, what did we do after that? My mother promised that we would go to the old ancestral home of the president, where he was born. So we went down through the back streets of Ardakan, down through the kuches, and we found the house. We knocked on the door, we went inside, and my mother, I think, is the first Farangi to sit on the bed where Khatimi was born.
I was wondering, what's your general impression of the country, of the Iran's country, now that you are back in America? What do you think back? When you think back, what do you think about?
Well, first of all, the number of myths about Iran, this is something we talked about in our little presentation, but the mythology, you ask an average American, and he says, oh, Iran, isn't that a desert? Right. Iran, there's a reason Persian gardens are famous around the world. We went to the Baqaram in Shiraz, and we went to 100 gardens, and just the lushness of the countryside. The myth about, all the women are walking around in these black, body bags,
We saw some beautiful young women. Incredible.
Exquisite, with the shoulder pads and the Chanel scarves and the...
Molto gusto, as they say in Italian, very stylish. خیلی خوشگل.
I heard they are changing somewhat.
Yes.
Under a certain standard, of course.
Yes.
It is. It's, as always, the youth is forcing change, not in its own way. Because you can't just keep telling them what to do.
Of course.
The myth about everybody chanting badly scripted propaganda. No, I mean, we went to Shiraz, we went to the tomb of Hafez, and it was full. And this was also during Nowruz, so it was spring, all the flowers are blossoming. And how many hundreds, thousands arrived there every day to just quote Hafez, to touch his sarcophagus, to say a piece of the poem as a prayer, who then go into the Chaykhane and sit there and very freely. That night, it was our first night there in Iran, first time in 30 years, and that night in the Chaykhane at Hafez tomb, a young girl comes up and invites the whole family to come to her house, like that.
Right.
And we didn't know what to do, shouldn't we? So we went. And we had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And they asked my mother, what did she feel about religion? Maybe religion was creating problems. How did she feel about this? My mother replied, I believe my religion is almost exactly like Hafez.
Beautiful.
Everybody was very happy.
That's